Each Other is a podcast about the importance of human interaction. It provides reminders that we are not intended to live in isolation. Human beings need each other. The things about another that pisses you off and the things that take you over the moon are all opportunities to see through another's eyes, recognize their intrinsic value, and then look more deeply within ourselves to find the love that's always there. So I'm delighted to be here today with this episode of We Need Each Other because this is my Mother's Day episode, and I have my daughters with me, my younger, Carmen, and my elder, Morgan Elizabeth, and I kind of not force them, but use the holiday in order to get them to do an episode with me. So when I first wanted to do a podcast a couple of years ago, when I had this idea, I wanted us to do a podcast together, and we talked about it for about 2 seconds, and we knew that wasn't going to happen because they're too busy. And I'm busy, and it was hard. How could we even coordinate our schedules to do something on a regular basis? So I told him, this is what I want for my Mother's Day gift. And they said yes. You said what?
And that's all you're getting.
And that's all I'm getting. You know what? That'd be okay. This is a gift for me. That would be absolutely perfectly fine. This is a tremendous gift for me because Mother's Day is important to me. You know, and I've done research about where Mother's Day actually started, and there's all kinds of stories about it, but I do know that our President Woodrow Wilson signed a proclamation in 1914 to honor all mothers. And I have to wonder, when he signed that proclamation, was he talking about us, black people? Because I doubt it, seriously. No. Because he also, like the next year, talked about Birth of a Nation and how amazing it was and how so he probably wasn't honoring us. So anyway, we're honoring us because you know what, black women are the mothers of all mothers. We're the mothers of everybody, sometimes referred to as mammy, but we mother everybody. That's just, they come to us for that. That's our nature. And so I don't want to steal all the talking. So Carmen, what's Mother's Day mean to you? Carmen is my child who is not yet, maybe never will be if she decides to be a mother. But I just wonder, how important is this holiday for you to celebrate your mama?
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's important. It's one, I know it's important to you, but also, yeah, Mother's Day. I'm sure it'll hit different if I do have children, realistically.
Oh, for sure.
But it's important that we celebrate our women, mothers especially, and you know, give them the roses while they're here, sort of thing. It's a good excuse or reason to celebrate them because they don't get celebrated enough. Like,
mothers do a lot that they just do, and nobody thanks them for anything.
Right.
I do counseling with men and women couples sometimes, and men are always talking about, but I did this and they didn't even appreciate it. I did this and they didn't, and as in those sessions, I can't say it like this, but it's like, she did 10,000 things to that one thing that you did and nobody thanked her for because that's just what she's supposed to do, and that's the life of women in general, but then become a mother on top of it, and then it's crazy. So I made a decision 30 some odd years ago to become a mother as a single mother because I was in the world of advertising and I was making good money, and I felt like I wanted to share my life with children because I felt like I was living very selfishly. And besides that, I did come to realize that there was a biological clock, which I don't know if you're experiencing that yet. I was around your age, actually. Yeah, actually. But I didn't think it existed. There's, so many things that they talk about I think are not real. And when I turned 30, actually, I would look at babies and tears would come to my eyes and I would go, what is wrong with me? And I realized that I still did not want to be married. I'd been married once and divorced, but I wanted to have children. So I made that decision, and I'm glad I did because it just never felt like a burden to me to be a single mother. And I wasn't single all the years, but in those early years, it was just like the best thing since sliced bread to me. You can't even fathom that idea.
No.
Really? To be a mother?
Terrible.
It sounds terrible to be a single mother or a mother?
A mother.
A mother? So I guess Carmen doesn't want to have any kids.
No, I do though. I don't know what I want.
She hasn't made that decision yet.
No.
And that's good, you know. Don't do something that you haven't made a decision about. So, what's Mother's Day mean to this one that is a mother?
You know, Mother's Day is my favorite holiday of all the days. I think it's glorious.
I know she doesn't really like Mother's Day because she has to share it with me. And she doesn't understand that I don't want to share it with her either. But, you know, that's the way it is. That's just the way it is. That's what you do. You want your children to have children. Well, you know, and again, I'm not saying that it's any kind of pressure to you. That's not even what I mean. But when your children have children and you're excited about it, and then Mother's Day comes and you go, oh, it's not about me anymore. You know,
It's just because, like, I would love to have an excuse to just, like, not do a single thing and say I can do that because it's Mother's Day, but I can't do that.
But you know, I think next year we should plan for that. Honestly, that maybe we celebrate Mother's Day the next week.
Yeah.
You know, it's like who said what the day of Mother's Day was? So
Right,
we could
because I think
celebrate.
that's my thing.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't always have the energy to do stuff.
Mm.
And so it's like another day that I have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's very real.
And so it's just another thing on my calendar. Like, it's, you know, it's just not.
And then I could just take a trip on Mother's Day.
I was like, we could just.
And
send
next
you
year, I
away.
may not even be in town on Mother's Day. My prayer is to be on set working.
On Mother's Day?
Whatever
day it is. Mm-hmm.
Right, just not in this house.
Yeah. So, yeah. But like I said, Mother's Day is the best day that there ever was, and you know, I love it.
Well, it's an important day to your son.
He loves
celebrating
Mother's
you.
Day.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
loves Mother's Day.
Yeah. And this one used to love Mother's Day also. And this one learned too because,
Yeah. Great.
oh, Carmen. When she was about 8 years old, something like that, we moved to Denver from Los Angeles when she was.
So I feel like I should do it. Like,
I know.
what'd you say?
Tell me more.
when she was 7, so it's probably her first Mother's Day when we were living in Denver, and you know it's a weekend, so I get up and she has 2 cards that she made in school for me. Probably gave me a gift, Carmen. You know, I didn't ask her, but she just never gave me anything, and
It's probably stuck at the bottom of my back.
Like you definitely had.
Like,
some-
well,
it was
because
required.
in school,
Yeah. Right, you had to do
yeah,
it.
in school on Mother's Day and Father's Day, you made. She's like, oh wait, I know where that card is.
I know where it is.
No, not to excuse it, but I could see myself being like, look, I messed up because I'm careless.
Right.
I'm just
Because
never gonna
what?
give it to him. I'm gonna act like it doesn't exist. Like, that's probably what happened.
Wait, say that again.
I used to like leave my lunch in the locker and
Oh,
stuff. So knowing
you
me,
probably
I probably
left it.
messed it up or left it behind or something. It was like, we're just not going to talk about that.
So I would expect you to go, oh my God,
Probably.
Morgan,
No,
I
I
don't
would
have
never
my
do
card.
that.
Help me make one.
No, I would totally not do
wouldn't
No,
that.
she wasn't.
Yeah.
that
And I
child.
would just be like,
She was not that kid.
Look, we're not going to mention it. Right.
it doesn't exist. That's the easiest
And
way.
it really didn't exist. And
That's
because we later that day went to Pier 1, which is one of my favorite places to go shop back in those days.
Like, it's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone. Wow.
Yeah.
And so they had this huge bucket of carnations in the front of the store, and this one who's given me 2 cards and a gift and said, hey, happy Mother's Day, probably made me breakfast.
That's where you played yourself, though. You could.
Yeah, I know, right?
Flower.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like,
I don't know. Who knows?
she
I
gives
don't
me
know.
a flower, she walked right past them. And I'm going like, man, she's not even going to take
Like,
this
it doesn't
opportunity.
No, think about it though. Like, think about who I am.
Think about who you are.
Like, I'm working on it, but I have avoidance. You know, like, if there is a situation,
Yes.
I'm just going to act like it doesn't
That
exist.
is true.
Yeah.
That is
That,
true.
I've never thought about it as many times as you
I
told
never
this
thought about it
story.
either, but that's
probably
true.
what-
That
You
is
probably,
true.
yeah,
Like,
just for like,
Well, if I
it's
just
not-
don't buy her
it just doesn't
anything, I'll
exist.
never have to show her how messed up it is or whatever. I don't know.
But I waited till the end of the day, and Carmen never. But she didn't even say Happy Mother's Day. So finally, at the end of the day, I was like, Carmen, do you know it's Mother's Day? And she told me yes. So I said, "This is May. Her birthday's in December."
That's the kicker. You said, yeah, I know.
Right, I know. You should have
Like,
said,
I can read.
you should have continued to be clueless, right?
Right.
But I said, it was very hurtful for me for you not to acknowledge that it was Mother's Day. So, therefore, I'm not going to acknowledge your birthday. I said, I won't stop anybody else from acknowledging your birthday. But I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell you happy birthday. I'm not going to give you a gift. It's just not your birthday. And I did not forget.
Did you feel terrible?
No.
Are you sure?
I didn't feel terrible.
Okay.
I didn't feel terrible with that incident.
It was terrible. I remember it.
I don't remember feeling terrible. I probably did.
Well, I swear on Sheila was there and she was like, what's going on?
Yeah,
or something.
I can
was
never
like,
do that.
no.
But
Just me.
the thing about it is, since that time, Carmen remembers Mother's Day, and she gives me the best gifts. I mean, they're really thoughtful. They're really thoughtful. So that was a good lesson learned. Hopefully,
I don't remember
we don't even know
but
we don't even know why. But
yeah, I remember the birthday part. I do not remember the Mother's Day
yeah,
part. So apparently,
nothing.
No.
Yeah, I'm sure that bothered me tremendously.
Yeah.
But I had to, I was that mother that said, when you throw something out there, you gotta back it up. Because if you don't back it up, then kids walk all over you. Mm-hmm. And they don't learn anything. So, do you remember that incident at all? Did you remember anything about that?
The Mother's Day?
No, about her not having a birthday.
I remember it vividly. Yes.
You remember vividly? You said?
Yes.
Do you? Yeah.
This is messed up. Yes, I remember it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is my little Carmen. We have story after story after story about Carmen. It's interesting because as a mother, I think one of the things I realized is that, you think about a person inheriting things about you, your skin color, maybe your hair texture. Ours are all three different, or things about you. But what I didn't realize until I had children is that you inherit things that are like personality traits that are not learned. You said what? What did you say?
I said that you never told me I was actually adopted.
I might have told you that, but did you ever ask me?
Several times.
I think you did ask me if you were adopted.
It don't look like you.
You never asked me that because we just look just alike.
I didn't think we looked like them.
I know. I didn't think I looked like my mother either. But even when she was a baby, my mother and I looked so much alike, and she looked so much like my mother, that the three of us would be out, and I could be holding her, and everybody would think it was my mother's baby. Like, really?
Like, so this 15-year-old.
And then when she was a baby, before she was born, I could be out with you, and people would go, "Whose child is this?"
Because I was adopted.
All the time. No one ever thought you were my child until she was born, and then they saw some similarity between the two of you, and I never got asked that question again. I found it quite insulting to be asked, "Whose child is this?" when you're in my arms.
We were fine.
You said what?
I don't know.
There's something that people saw. There are similarities.
You could definitely tell we're sisters.
Yeah, you can tell you're sisters. Sure. People would go, "Oh, you got one chocolate, one vanilla." Yeah, I am.
And then DJ was the swirl. I remember someone saying that to us.
And DJ was the swirl.
The grocery store.
That was my stepson.
Yeah.
Who I adore still to this day.
People say crazy stuff.
People say crazy stuff.
Yeah, someone said that, or maybe they called him Vanilla and you Swirl because we were all there. That would make more
probably.
Sense, yeah. But I remember that happening at the grocery store. Yeah, because
that's crazy.
Lighter.
Yeah, people say stupid stuff.
Right.
And then they touch your belly when you're pregnant.
Like it's not in
They did that to you?
Skin.
No one touched my belly, but I remember I had just had Joey. It was like one of my first or second times being out with Joey.
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, I was there. I remember.
At home.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Crystal was with us, right?
Someone, I don't remember.
I think it was Crystal. We're at lunch. I've just had a child. Like, it was like, I don't think if I'd been out with him by myself before, it was maybe only one time before that. Joey was a baby. Mm-hmm. Like, in his the home from the hospital stroller.
Right,
baby.
Right.
And we're sitting there, and this woman goes to open my stroller to see the baby. She asked me, she said something, I don't remember it exactly, but she said something and was like, "Can I, oh baby, can I see?" And I was like, "Oh, he's sleeping." And she goes to reach for to open the stroller. And I was like, "You have got..."
I feel like she touched his leg over his cover too.
Yeah.
I swear, I could be wrong, but I feel like she definitely reached.
It was just like the caucasity of it all.
Yeah. Exactly.
The caucasity.
Yes.
Because number one, I don't know you.
Right.
I don't care if he was awake and he's 10 like he is now. Don't touch my kid.
Right.
Well,
Like,
I can remember when we lived in the Denver area, and I remember being in Boulder, and some woman was taking pictures. And I was like, no, you don't take pictures of my children.
right.
Like, I don't even know you. But you were beautiful, and she want to take your picture. But
ask the mother.
And I'm
going?
going to tell you no.
And that's why she didn't bother asking.
That's right.
Anyway. The caucasity.
The caucasity of it all. I love that word. The caucasity of it all.
Yes.
So,
One of my favorite memories growing up.
I feel concerned.
You should. Well, it's about you. But it's funny. We were at dinner when Mom... Then you were telling a story.
Oh, at the
dinner
table.
So growing up, like me, Carmen, our stepdad Dante, and DJ,
his son,
we were all our brother. We were all hyper and crazy, like in our own different ways. And then Mom was the serious one.
Because somebody had to be. I thought.
One day at dinner, Carmen was telling a story, and we start laughing. We were like listening to Carmen, and Mom started like. And then we all started laughing because it was like finally Mom was being silly with us, but that's because especially back then, not so much anymore.
Oh, I still get.
But I did that. Why?
Because Carmen was telling a story that was like so detailed, but then the ending, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And that's.
Do you still do that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, well, I need to give you backstory. So
right.
But that's also because I don't. To you guys, I talk, but like I don't really talk about my things ever.
Ever.
So I'm like, oh, let me go back, and then actually need to know that too.
Why do you not talk about your things? Is that just intentional that you don't do that?
I don't have any friends. No, I'm just kidding.
I feel like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do. No, I really do. But that's like too deep of a question. I feel I definitely have friends, but I don't talk to people consistently enough that it's like, oh, how is that thing you did yesterday? Because I know you did it. How did that go?
Right.
Like it'll be like, oh, all this happened this week.
Yeah.
Megan and I are talking more these days, like on that level. But other than that, it's like, where do I even begin?
You have to catch them up.
Yeah, or I just don't even bother.
You probably didn't need to catch up with that story.
No.
Since we're together all day, and not all day.
Right. But if it's about somebody at school, like you need to understand the dynamic.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I don't know.
Carmen would bust me because she had a little friend once in elementary school. And I was like, that girl looks like a mouse.
Oh.
Mom, I was just saying this to my child.
I'm not going to say her name. I'm not saying
Don't say her name.
Do you still know her?
Yeah. Oh, on Facebook. We're Facebook friends.
Yeah, I know.
She remembers
were you mad at me? Were you mad?
I was mad at her.
You were mad at her.
Yes.
And she said, my mom said you look like a mouse.
That's what my mama said.
And then you told me that you said it.
And you're like,
oh my God.
Oh.
Well,
yeah.
she did look
she
like
cried.
a mouse. She kind of, does she look like a mouse now? You said what?
She cried.
Yeah, I think so.
Aww.
That was like 3rd grade.
My mom said you look like a mouse.
I know. I still remember her birthday. Isn't that weird? I remember so many people's birthdays.
I don't remember anything. If Facebook or my calendar doesn't remind me, I would probably forget my birthday.
Speak up.
I don't remember anything.
I feel like the mic is working. Though.
Yeah, the mic is fixing what I'm saying.
Yeah. There are so many stories about Carmen.
Yeah.
I remember a story. I don't know, this one just popped in my head, and I don't know if you remember this, but I was a helicopter mom. I would still be a helicopter. They kind of slapped me away.
You still are a helicopter mom.
I'm a helicopter mom. And it's because I care, and
to the degree that she can be, given we don't live with her, she is a helicopter.
Yeah, right, exactly. But not really. I don't think so. But anyway, I it's not for me to say. That's for you to say. But anyway, I made an arrangement at work to pick them up from school every day, take them home to the nanny. You don't remember this?
Lucy.
Are we talking about my cheeks?
You're talking about what?
My cheeks?
The guy?
No. Oh, that's right. You said something about a guy. Never mind. Yeah, I forgot you said something about a child.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I made arrangements to pick them up from school every day because I realized that by the time I got home from work, if I'd say what happened today or how was school, you'd go, fine. And I got nothing.
See, you need the backstory.
You need the backstory. backstory.
Yes.
But you didn't even try to give me the backstory.
Okay.
And so I made arrangements. I was like really shocked that my boss said, yeah, I could do this. But I would drop whatever I was doing, you know, and I was in advertising. And so there'd be emergencies, you know, things that are, you know, I had to get done, but it didn't matter, time to pick you up from school. Because I realized if I picked you up from school and I'd say, what happened today, that I got everything.
Get the backstory.
Got the
Right.
backstory. But one day, and I wonder if you remember this, Carmen was just like quiet, and I could see she had an attitude. And I said, Carmen, what's the matter? What happened today? Do you remember this?
You gotta get to the...
I know.
Yeah, I'm giving you the backstory.
Yeah.
And she would say nothing to me. And I said, Carmen, I am not moving this. No, I don't know why I said this to Carmen. I am not moving this car. And
Carmen's like,
you're like,
no.
I guess we'll just be here. But finally, you told me there was some little guy that you liked. Do you remember this?
No.
And I think he sat with some other girl at lunch or something like that. And you were just like so upset. You were so upset.
You're like, I still blocked him to this day. Like, what?
I don't even know.
But yeah, I could see that. So, and I was like, I'm not leaving until. And then I thought, oh my God, I said that to Carmen because Carmen will have you just sit
If it was
there
up to
forever.
Carmen, you'd still be in that car
Right.
now.
I guess we live here now. Do we
Because
invent Postmates in order here or what?
and because see, I keep telling all these stories about Carmen because when I was in labor with Carmen, I had long labors with both of these.
And
children.
then I had a long labor.
And she had a long labor. It runs in the family. Just so you know.
I know. I'm like, reason
It
number
didn't.
700.
It started with me because my mother did not have long labors. I don't think my sister did either. Maybe.
And
you
then you
won't.
get tired and you're just like over it. You're like, never
Yeah,
mind.
you just get tired. Oh my God, you just get tired. And so, with her, they had me marching up and down the hall trying to advance the contractions because I was contracting, but they weren't moving her forward enough. Doctor brought me in to check me, and he said these words.
Oh my God.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And I'm like, what? And he said, she's turned around and gone back up. So this is the Carmen that does things in her own time. And I have said that, I have reminded myself about that with you probably yesterday.
And I'm like every day for the last.
All the time I go,
33
no, she's turned around and went back up. So
right.
she's not gonna. But the one thing I knew about that was, because I used to tell people, well, I'll tell you one thing, Carmen is not going to have sex or use drugs because somebody forced her to.
No.
That will be her decision because Carmen does things in her own time.
She's like, and that's why I'm a crackhead today.
That's why I'm correct.
I was ready. And
Right.
And this one, who appears to not be social, was a social butterfly when you were a little kid. You were just a social butterfly. You flitted here, there, talked to everybody. People loved to talk to you. And then in adult years, I'm like, where'd that child go? Because
I can detect bullshit from a mile away.
Yeah.
That's why. It's like
And
I
there's
said
lots
on the
of it
show I was
around.
on last night. I don't waste my time. If I'm talking, it's for a reason. Otherwise, I have nothing to say. I hate small talk. I hate, hey, how you doing? What you been up to? Where you been? I don't care. Like, save it.
yeah.
You know, I don't.
Sad life.
When I'm around people that I thoroughly enjoy, then I'm talkative.
mm-hmm.
Like when Carmen will do the game nights at her house and it's just the people that I enjoy, I'm talkative. When I'm with my actual friends, not people that I randomly met, 10 years ago out in the clubs and
Should have closed the door.
knew way back when, then I'm talkative. But otherwise, I'm not. If you want chit chat, you gotta chit chat with somebody else.
Right.
Like I'm not the chit chatting person.
And sometimes even with me, sometimes it takes you a minute. So yeah,
Wait.
you watch personalities change because, you were a kid. You didn't know that bullshit was coming at you. And so you were always very social. And this one,
It's such
You-
things. I don't talk. Yeah.
no, you're just so independent. You can say
INDEP.
because here's another Carmen story.
Oh, right.
Well, I got a story for you too, little girl. But Carmen, my mother used to. I moved my mother in with us. She lived with us for a while.
Is this the cheek story?
Is this a what story?
I feel like the cheek story is coming.
Yeah,
in a
the
moment.
cheek story. I don't even know what the cheek
The
story.
peanuts,
peanuts
or
and the
whatever.
cheeks.
Oh, see,
Okay,
another
well, never
Carmen
mind.
story.
No, we don't need to go there.
No, I wasn't going to go there. But she couldn't find you in the apartment because you had gone. We had in one of the bathrooms was just a shower, and you don't even remember this.
I remember that.
You know, she went in
You
the
were in the
shower
shower.
with a toy, and she was sitting in the floor of the shower playing with the toy. My mother's calling and she ignored her. And she was so upset. I think she called me at work because she couldn't find you in the apartment.
Well, she didn't look very well.
She didn't look very well.
Apparently.
Right, like it wasn't a mansion.
No,
Right.
it wasn't a mansion, but who would think to come looking for you in the shower?
But it was a big apartment.
I guess.
Well, a duplex.
But why didn't you
Apartment.
answer? That's the thing.
Because for
Because she didn't want to.
I'm in my own world.
Right.
That's
I have
'cause-
selective hearing.
Right.
Yeah.
As she
Do you
used
still?
to always say, or somebody, either you or my dear used to say something about selective hearing all the time.
My dear has selective hearing.
Right. So,
yeah,
who she to
my dude has
judge?
selective hearing. I have selective hearing too.
Right.
Actually, not so much now, but I used to,
Yeah.
very much so. But do you still?
Have selective hearing?
Mm-hmm.
It is a conscious choice.
It's a conscious choice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Now I'm just like, I wear my headphones a lot in case I get a call or whatever. I think I want AirPods, but that's an aside. Because over ear is just a bit much. But,
so you could always pretend like you're actually talking to somebody when you don't want to talk to somebody.
well, like in the house, sometimes I'm not even playing anything. Like I'm intend to play a podcast or music or whatever. But they're just always there. It's like working from home.
Mm.
And even when I used to be in the office. And so I'm just like, oh. Sorry. Oh, I didn't hear you there.
But your story, oh my God, 5 alarm call at work was when you put that bead in your nose. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You do.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have any idea
I was
why
like
you put a
5.
bead in your nose?
They're just like, oh, let's see.
It fits.
Right.
My mother called
where do you
because
think
she
you're
couldn't
gonna
get
go?
it out. She couldn't get it out, and
I think of
I
eating solutions to that all
flew-
the time, though, now.
you
I
said you
just
were.
randomly think of that.
You think of what?
Like, I have, like, a beading hook. Solutions to that. I've got a beading hook. You just hook it and pull it. Like, there's so many ways you could do it.
But I don't
You-
think we
you
had.
bend
I
the
don't think
pin.
my mother had a beading hook.
I would get a bobby pin. Like, there's so many things
yeah,
I
but
would
she-
do.
you
You
should
should
just
push it
panic.
up further?
No, you pull it.
Well, let me tell you
It's in
something.
there.
Okay, she makes it sound like it was that easy. It wasn't that easy for the doctor because
Let me tell you.
they
Behind your
said
eyeball.
hold her head.
Mm-hmm.
I had to hold your head, and they had to get some kind of tool because you pushed it way up there.
How?
That's a good question.
I mean,
But
you
they-
can touch your thing.
But what made you?
Well, why
actually.
would, yeah.
Why would you?
Boredom?
So that's the thing about mothering is the kids do some very strange things, and
Joey's
just-
never done anything like that.
thank God. Hopefully, he doesn't.
It-
Maybe
well,
it's a
he's
girl
too
thing.
old now. He
I
wouldn't do it
hope
now.
so.
Yeah. Joey's all about being
He's
cool.
like, what?
He wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
But he's never done anything weird.
that's good. I guess I just had weird children.
Yeah.
Like
But you
Joey
would expect
is
a
very
boy to do
weird.
that.
Just like me, he is weird. Like there is things that I do and I'm like, I am so sorry. I gave you my weirdness.
Mm.
It's perfect.
But then it's fun. Because
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, finally. And then we go on tangents of weirdness together. But he never did anything weird.
You what?
He never did anything weird. I don't think.
I'm sure he did.
I really don't think he did.
I can't think of
I
anything.
can't think of
though.
anything.
No.
Certainly not hospital work.
No.
Well, he locked himself in his room, but
No, he locked himself out of it.
out of the room. That's right. He wasn't even in the room. That was smart. He locked himself out.
And
of
he
the
was
room.
old
had
enough
get
at
the
that
locks
point
out.
to unlock the door if he was in the room.
That's true. Yeah.
No, nothing. My
So-
child was perfect. Except for when I
My
punched
children
him in
were
the chest.
perfect.
Did you just short out? What happened?
When
But
you were
also that led us nowhere in
teenagers,
30 minutes.
when you were teenagers, because there was so much hormonal thing and changes that you'd go through, and sometimes you would just become like another person, and I don't know who you are. That's when I said, "I'm a good mother."
Mm-hmm.
That's when I was like, "No, I am a good mother." That's what it was your reaction.
She went, I am a good mother.
Yeah, but you know, I think one of the things that made me a good mother is because I wanted to hear from you.
Yeah.
And when you were 16, you had a car, you had a job, you had money.
It's like, you can't tell me shit, Mom.
Yeah, right.
That's how
But
Kelsey used to talk. And I would be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I came in to put laundry in your room one day, and there was, your CD case was open, and it had all these parental advisory CDs, which
Big
I
and
didn't,
Tupac.
I didn't give you permission to have. And this was what being a good mother was to me. It's because I went, like, I can say, well, you can't listen to those, and why are you listening? But I went, she has a car, she has money, she's just going to go underground. I used to use that term to myself all the time. Well, you don't want to send them underground.
What does underground mean?
It
Like
means that
never
you were
speaking.
not going to stop listening to that music just
Right.
because I told you
Got
to.
it.
And you had your own car and your own money, and I wasn't in control of that.
I just picture little me like opening a door and walking down the stairs.
I mean, we lived in the basement already.
Right.
Yeah. But I decided that I wanted to understand why she, and probably you too, were listening to music that I didn't give you permission to listen to. Because I was that mother back in the day that thought, oh my God, they use such harsh language and they call women bitches and hoes, and oh my God, why are they listening to this music? And so I said, I want to pick 3 CDs.
I remember this
Do you
thing.
remember this
Yeah.
clearly?
Mhm.
And listen to them because I want to understand why. And so, of course, I picked Tupac, Eminem,
And
and
Biggie.
Biggie.
And good thing you didn't listen to Eminem's song where he's talking about killing his mother. That's a good thing.
Well, but I did listen to
Yeah.
Eminem.
No, you listened to Eminem, but did you listen to all entire? How did you
But
do that?
no.
You listened to the whole thing?
Oh,
of
I
all
listened to
three?
the whole. I listened to the whole album. I listened to everything. And what I realized with Tupac and Eminem is that they were messengers. I was like, they're not even talking to the kids; they're talking to us.
Right.
And we're not listening because we're so appalled by the language that they learned from us. Because I would tell adults all the time, they didn't make up this language.
Right.
They learned it from us. All these things that you're not liking, they didn't make it up. But adults were not listening to me. They did not want to hear it. And then with Biggie, I just felt like he was an amazing storyteller.
That's what he was.
But he wasn't talking about anything I cared about. But he was an
Great
amazing storyteller.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's when I started. I came to you. It was like beginning of the summer, I guess. And I said, I want you to invite your friends over. Do you remember that?
For
Well, I know
Not
you
the
remember.
specific
a listening
conversation,
party of Tupac?
No. But that's when we started having gatherings at the house every 2 weeks.
No, I want to know when you were okay with Eminem.
No,
When
we
what?
went to a
Eminem.
concert together. When
I
was
was
in high
always
school.
okay with Eminem. From the time I listened to him.
When she
No,
actually
okay,
gave it a
but you
chance.
said what you understood from Tupac and what you understood from Biggie, so I want to know what I don't remember what you got out of
But
it.
he was a messenger. I mean, honestly, him.
Yeah, because that's more when he was talking about presidential stuff. And everything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's true.
but he was also I don't remember the words, but he was talking about the things that our children were doing, and we were not teaching them differently. I don't remember how he languaged that, but I was like, oh my God, he's talking to the adults. He's talking to us, and Tupac also, you know. So I invited your friends over. I always knew I had to serve food. So we had wings and pizza and lemonade and stuff like that. But we would just talk. We would just sit and talk about different things. And it was a beautiful forum because there are things that it's, as a mother, it's hard to talk about with your kids. But when you're talking to a group of kids, it's easier. You know,
Who
and
was
it
there
was
for my friends.
That was like your
Sam Bershaw.
I know Sam.
Year though, right? That was like your
Cece?
senior year.
Was Cece there?
Cece was with me for everything, so for sure
Um,
Cece.
Maybe Amon and maybe.
I
That's
can't
the same
remember.
I
time.
don't really.
Probably Sam. Definitely, I remember
Definitely
Sam.
Sam.
That was also my boo at the time. So Sam.
And, you know, well, anyway, it was a group of your friends. And
I just was curious because I remember her friends that were there, but I was like, who did I have there? I know Sam, but I
Yeah, I remember Sam for sure.
I can't remember now at this point, honestly. But it was a good opportunity for you to be able to talk about things openly in front of me because other kids were talking about it. And it was a good thing for me to be able to get your perspectives and understand and, you know, and learn. I learned a lot. And I realize that adults are afraid of teenagers, and to this day, I think teenagers are amazing because there's a fork in the road. They're choosing what is true for them, and so often they're being pulled to believe something that their parents want, that their teachers want, that society wants from them, and they have a voice that's telling them something different.
Right.
And so the thing that I always taught this group of kids was listen to your inner voice. It doesn't matter what anybody's saying. And one of my theme songs back in that day was Christina Aguilera, The Voice Within. Remember that? Yeah. So that's when I realized I was a good mother. And then when she was gone, and because I did this, you were in like your junior year of high school, you were coming into high school, and then you went through 4 years of high school, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't have any teenagers anymore. And then I started facilitating the teens at Mile High Church. And it was a whole different dynamic, completely different dynamic. Because those were a lot of...
Right.
You said what?
I was like, this isn't the same.
This is small fish.
Well,
goodbye.
No, but what was different was you were what would be defined as urban kids, and
Right.
kids in the city. And you were a diverse group of kids. And some were from single parent homes and some were not. But if there was a single parent home, that parent, which was typically a mother, not always, Wally was the dad, they were on it. They knew what was happening with their kids. And then I go out to the suburbs with all the white kids, and I would have to have counseling sessions with them and say, unfortunately, you're the adult in your house, and you're in high school, so you just count down the days. I mean, because that's how bad it was. They would have two parents in the home. Some of them were cocaine addicts, some of them were alcoholics, some of them were workaholics. They were not paying attention to their kids, which is why the Columbine situation happened. I completely understood that.
I remember a moment I realized you're a good mom that had not to do with Carmen and I. Because my friend Ryan Cook, who I asked that Jones about a year ago now, I need to ask him again.
What about him a year ago?
I asked him if he knew how I could get in touch with Ryan. But Ryan, I thought of it especially because Columbine. Ryan I went to art school from middle school to all the way to college, but the same art school from middle school and high school. And Ryan, I met Ryan in 6th grade.
In middle school, yeah.
Yeah. And we were always close, but Ryan, and I remember our last day, it had to be freshman year of high school, because then I went to Merrill for 7th and 8th. Right? Yeah. So maybe Ryan and I met, whatever.
I don't remember.
It was in middle
No,
school.
Ryan came from Merrill. I met Ryan in 7th grade. He came to Merrill, and then he went back
Denver
over to
School of the
DSA
Arts.
with me. I remember the last day of 8th grade, Ryan said, when you see me at the end of the summer, I'm not going to look anything like this.
And I didn't know that. He said that
He
to
didn't
me.
know, because Ryan was very close to me. Ryan was always a bit of an outcast, but was in our crew of the cool kids, but he was the, just the one that kind of beat to his own drum.
And he was always one that hung out at the house.
Yeah, but Ryan was my guy. I gotta find Ryan. He's there somewhere. Anyway, so then I remember him telling me he was going to DSA, and I was so excited because we were in high school together. And at that point, I knew all my old DSA friends, but I had no Merrill friends coming with me to DSA.
Right.
And I had separated from DSA for 2 years because I went to Merrill.
That's right.
Because at that point, DSA was a little bit hood. So we went
that's
over
right.
too, because it was but then it was at the new building, and right down the street from your office. Because 9 News is right around the corner from DSA. Yeah. So, anyway, so school, first day of school comes. Ryan has shaved his head, and Ryan used to have longer hair. He shaved his head, but kept what he made into devil horns, and he had white contacts and a long trench coat and the black. Was a completely different person from 8th grade. Just teddy bear Ryan, and lost weight and got so tall. It was like he changed a lot over the summer. Mom came to pick me up
I remember.
Ryan, because he's like, Mom!
And I was like, is that Ryan?
Ryan? Yeah. But I mean, it was just like nothing. Like, not a beat.
Mm-hmm.
And our friends have always called Mom, Mom. But it was like, no, like, she knew his voice. She heard it, even though what was running toward her with open arms was a little bit scary. Yeah, but Mom was like, oh. And Ryan came and gave her. Right. But his thing was, I'm going to make the world scared of me. Mm-hmm. You're going to be scared of me. Mm-hmm. And Mom was never scared. I mean, her and Ryan were like this.
And I think because of the start with Ryan and that incident, because I knew Ryan he hadn't been that long. He's the same kid. I mean, like, I knew he had a reason that he was doing that. And he explained it. Mm-hmm. He wanted, because he was in high school, he wanted the younger kids to be afraid of him. I remember him saying that. And then when Columbine happened, and I went, but wait, that's how Ryan dresses in the black cloak. And I was like, does he feel that way? So I had to go through that thing in my head.
And he never did. And they wouldn't let him. I remember sitting in class during Columbine, and then when it was happening, because I was in one of my favorite teachers, but he hated me, Megan, and Christy. And he hated us. But we had an A in the class, and we were just disruptive. He hated us. So we would ask, can we go in the hallway? And he's like, yes, please, God, please just go in the hallway. I will never forget. Anyway. But the next day, all the Gothic kids, they got pulled into the principal's office, and there was like this whole interview thing, and they were not allowed to wear their black boots and the trench coats and the thing. Which was unfortunate because we went to art school. So it's like, this is a place for creative expression. Did he blow up the building before? No, he ain't going to do it now just because he saw these idiots.
And
had attentive parents.
Had everything.
Yeah, like that would have never been Ryan. That was not Ryan's personality at all.
But it prepared me for those white kids at my church, in the teen church. Because when I would see them come in dressed goth, I knew it was because they were pushing people away. I mean, I understood that. And so I remember one day he came in brand new. We had couches, and, we sat around on couches. He came in, hood over his head, black nails, the whole thing, head down, sat on the floor. And I went, what's that? Right? I went sat right next to him, asked him what his name was. And he looked at me and told me his name. And eventually the hood comes off and everything relaxes. Because I'm not scared of you.
Right. Well, it's just a neglected home, unfortunately. Which obviously we saw. That's exactly what it was with whatever in Dylan Claypool. Like nobody paid attention.
Nobody paid attention then, because how are you building a bomb in your garage?
And then even at school, like, that's why I always I will never forget a girl, which again just shows to your parenting. But this girl Shauna, I remember she wrote me a letter in middle school. This was at Merrill. Everybody made fun of Shauna because Shauna's mom had died. And she was raised by her father, which was a little bit of like a hick and a hillbilly. So Shauna you could tell, my dad does not know what to do with me, and I'm stepping into puberty.
I know who that girl was.
Like, it was the worst time for her mother to pass. And then you got 2 years of like, your period's about to start, and all these, like, you're just awkward. And Dad don't know. Dad's trying his best. But because kids are assholes, they would make fun of Shauna. And I remember one day we were in, I don't remember the teachers' names at Merrill, but they used to make us read a paragraph of a book all around the room. And of course then kids are passing notes all around the room because it's, whatever. And I remember I got one note on this hand that was talking mess about Shauna. Kelsey replied to the note. I didn't, because I was like, no, pass it. And then everyone's just saying mean things about Shauna.
Kelsey too?
Kelsey decided one day she wasn't going to talk to me one day just for fun. And I was her best friend.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And I remember I was so pissed at the end of the day. And she was like, I'm so sorry. Holly and I decided that we weren't going to talk to you today.
Oh, wow.
So from that point on, because I'm always like, you show me once, I will be your friend, but my eyes are open.
Right.
Now, we've long since moved past that, went on to be friends. But I will never forget that day. Because I was like, Kelsey, because that's my best friend. And one day,
she was.
And Shauna were mute. Didn't say anything to me the whole day, and then Kelsey felt bad at the end of the day, but then at that point I'm like, bitch, fuck you, bye. So they're passing the mean note, and then Shauna passed me a note that said, thank you for being like the one that never talks bad about me, because I've tried to kill myself like several times. And I was like, and then back then it wasn't a whole thing, this is the 90s, it's not a thing. But I will never forget that. And then she wrote me again years later on Facebook or something. But I'm like, but again, I'm like, this is you because you taught us to understand. You don't ever know what anybody's going through.
You don't know what a person's going through.
You know?
You just don't. You don't know what a person's going through. And a person who, you know, you see regularly every day and then all of a sudden there's something different. The first thing is like, well, what are they going through?
Something's going on.
What's going on? Why are they, what happened? And they may not be able to tell you, but at least to have that kind of compassion, empathy.
You got to see that someone cares.
Right. And understand that something's going on with them. Yeah.
We should wrap it up.
But then, you know, that's just the mothering nature that we have. That we all have. You know, because whether or not you decide to have a child, that doesn't make you not a mother. Because that nature is yours. From when you were a kid, you loved those babies. You love babysitting those babies. Now you're like, whatever. You're like, yeah, I was a kid. But you did. You loved the babies. Because there was a nurturing thing inside of you. You're like, yeah, I don't know where that
was.
It's just so weird.
I really don't.
Because I would have thought you had kids.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Same.
Yeah, that's,
yeah.
That's surprising. But
I think eventually one day, but I just...
You know,
I'm not the type of person, I used to be, and I don't know why it changed, but I'm not the type of person that's going to go in the room and just, like, entertain the kids in the room. I'm just like, your parents got that, and, like, I'm going to be with the adults. I don't know.
Neither was I.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, guess what? Neither was I.
Right.
I mean, like, I will...
And I'm still not.
Right. Yeah.
Like, my neighbor today has this amazing, gorgeous little grandchild, and I kept talking to her, and, you know, that kind of thing, but... I wasn't reaching out to pick her up and do, you know, all that kind of thing. Because I never held a newborn baby until I held you. And there was a woman in my office. We were pregnant at the same time. And she had her baby, like, less than a month probably before I had Morgan. And then she came back to the office with her baby. And everybody's like, oh, don't you want her name was Colleen. Don't you want to hold Colleen's baby? I was like, no, thank you.
Right.
All right.
I'll hold mine.
Yeah, I'll hold mine. And she's coming. Right. So you were the first newborn baby I ever held. You know, I mean, I'd held babies before, but not a newborn. And
Joey, I guess, was the first one.
You were probably the second. And then Joey might have been the third.
Right.
Honestly.
I know, it's like, you're too little.
Carmen was obviously the first newborn I held.
Well, yeah.
That was my child.
This was her baby, man. Lord have mercy.
The best is that picture of Carmen in the stroller and I'm trying to climb in the stroller.
You should insert it here since we're putting in a video.
That's the best. Yeah, I should put it in there. That's the best. Like, let me get there with you.
She was her baby. She would sit and guard, and she wanted to do everything for you. Everything for you. And I would say, Morgan, you're going to cripple her. Because she needs to know how to do these things for herself. And you wouldn't listen. She wouldn't listen. You were her baby. When she was newborn, you're brushing her hair with the little baby.
That picture, I saw that picture the other day.
It's my baby. Because our age difference is close.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I always say 3 years is perfect. And I really did think about that because she's old enough at 3 to want to be a big sister and not to need to be the baby.
Right.
You know? But Lord have mercy, she turned into the mama.
But there's a point where our age difference was hard, and it broke my heart a little bit at the time because it was a pivotal time for Carmen, but I was gone. So where she's in high school, I'm starting college.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it probably would have been easier now with technology.
For sure with technology, but back then, you know, early 2000s, there was nothing to communicate with. So it's like when she really needed me, I'm gone.
Yeah.
So that was like, dang. It was almost like if it was just I was 1 year older or 1 year younger, then it could have been avoided. Because it was fine until then. But it was like when she really needs her big sister, we're both starting monumental new phases of our lives. Her starting high school, me starting college. So it was kind of like, and then communication was not the thing.
No, it wasn't the same.
You know, we didn't have, we had Nokia phone or something.
Yeah, I didn't get that till sophomore year. So
and
text messages weren't unlimited. I couldn't tell you.
Right.
Minutes.
You're like, my life's falling apart. Call me after 8 p.m. and we can talk on free data. Like what?
Literally.
Oh,
Yeah, even long distance calling.
But the one thing the one benefit I remember, because I hadn't thought about it, because I was like, well, how are you going to be with Morgan going away to college? And you said it will be the first time I've ever had you as a mother to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember saying that? You don't remember saying that? She's like, no.
I'm not surprised I did. But,
Yeah, but I was like,
true.
oh, that's true. I never thought about it. You've never been one-on-one with me. And I do remember that I used to try to spend time with each of you separately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that. But I would try to like hang out with you and do something, and hang out with you and do something, so that I had separate time with you. But, that's bits and pieces here and there, So,
And it was crazy.
So obviously it wasn't that
War
important to you,
started.
since you don't remember.
Well,
It was
no,
important. It was important at the time, I'm sure.
I don't remember making that statement, but
Yeah.
I used to love probably senior year, and then definitely on my winter breaks from college, I would spill all the tea. I'd hang out with mom, and I got back lay across the bed Mom. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are good days. Those are good days, man. It's mothering adult children who have their own lives, and other mothers, and I talk about this. It's hard. To me, now at this point, it's almost the hardest part of being a mother, because I'm not really mothering you. Not really. We become more friends, but then not really. You know what I mean? It's like this is a real difficult kind of time period. So it's going to make me cry right now.
I thought you were.
No, I wasn't going to cry.
Okay.
But I might before it's all over.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to wrap it up. So.
But it is. I mean, it's beautiful to watch the two of you be amazing women, and it makes me feel really good, because sometimes I go, oh my God, there are many me's.
Mm-hmm.
Like you with Solasana, and you when you did the town hall, and the work that you do, and all the kinds of things that you do, and the way that you both are there for your friends. Don't forget about yourselves. Don't forget about yourself.
Right.
Because I was thinking about myself, actually, just recently. I was like, God, so is my life right now supposed to just be about everybody else?
Apparently.
Because that's what it feels like right now. My life is about everybody else.
Lisa?
And is anybody's life about me? That's what it feels like, because you have to live your own lives. You've got families and other things that you have to focus on, and I cannot be the priority. But I want to be, but I can't be.
Oh, we know.
You're like, oh, we know. There's that helicopter.
If I didn't inherently, literally since birth, do things in my own time and, just have moments of selfishness or, distance in that way, that whatever that came from, because obviously it was from jump, I would be a mess.
You'd be a mess?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I do, it's always about others, but I have that something
Yes.
in me that at least is no, I'm simply just not doing that yet, or whatever.
See, I'm learning that.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know, and I try not to be rude about it. But sometimes it's not even conscious. It's just self-preservation or whatever. But yeah, if I didn't have that,
and I think it's important for women to have. It's really important for women to have that thing. To say no to you is to say yes to myself. So I'm glad that you have that, and I'm glad that you're learning it.
boundaries are everything.
And I haven't done
right now.
I haven't done well at it in my life.
Thanks.
I meant to bring it up. Yeah.
You said what?
I'm reading a
You're
book
supposed
about
to send me
boundaries
the
right
book?
now.
Are you? I'm reading a book about your
tell her
CEO.
Right.
Thanks for joining us today on this episode.
And
We gotta
what
close it
episode
up.
number is it?
Oh, I
I
don't
know, I
even
need to
know.
look for
It's
real.
getting up there. But I am going to wrap this up, because guess what? They have busy lives, and I got work I need
feel
to
like
do
I need to do
still.
this.
Because work, that's the thing. Work just never ends.
No,
Nope.
not these days.
It doesn't end. It's like, if you work for McDonald's or something, you go, you do your time, and then you come home and you don't have to think about work ever again. But not my life. Hasn't been my life. I don't know when that's been. That's never been my life, really. And it's not your life and work life, But I'm so happy and grateful that we did this. And you said you were going to sit on my lap next time you saw me.
I did on Mother's Day.
Come sit on my
But
lap.
I wasn't expecting to.
Oh, my babies, my babies, my babies. Oh, thank you so much, because truly, We
Mom's like,
need we need each other, and we can't forget that. It's just we will always have each other.
That should be the,
thumbnail.
there you go.
Yeah.
That could be the what?
The thumbnail.
Thumbnail.
Like when you go to a video, what pops
You
up?
should just click.
The still,
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining us.
I don't know.
This has been such a delight for me. It's been so much fun. 2 peas, 1 pod.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the name of our group text.
That's the name of our group text. 2 peas, 1 pod.
And would have been our,
And then mommy and Gulls.
Yes,
Mommy and Gulls. They call each other Gulls. That's what they call each other.
Yes.
That's their name for each other. I don't call them that. That's what they call each other.
We also say Judy, which nobody knows.
Whoa, we haven't said Judy in a minute. I need to bring that back.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining me. I so appreciate it.
Thank you for being
Your favorite show.
And I randomly started singing that last night, and we're like, we don't actually know the words.
Oh, I know every word.
No, I
You
know,
were
but
both
like the
singing
long
it,
one.
like-
You know the long one?